Hello there my fellow Holotable heroes and welcome to another SWGOH video. So in this one I really want to show you the cheat sheet for the kit for LOM that was just announced. I'm not going to do as usual the full kit reveal. You can go ahead and read his kit at any time. I'll just kind of highlight some of the things to look out for. Then maybe we'll also briefly talk about at the end like where is his place, like what kind of squad potentially he could be used in with the little information we have about him now. But first, let's actually talk about his place in the lore. Now, LOM was originally built as a protocol droid designed for etiquette and translation, but corruption in his logic circuits awakened an ambition. He reprogrammed himself, turning simulated theft into real heists, and emerged as a calculating bounty hunter. Now, a fun fact, while he and Zuckuss were pursuing Han Solo and Chewbacca, their ship crash landed on the jungle planet because the planet's stack disrupted LOM and disabled him. And this then forced him to request help from the very fugitives he was hunting. A bitter twist, right, in his logic-driven pursuit. However, probably the scene that most of us know him from, the episode 5, where Darth Vader summoned them along with a band of other bounty hunters aboard the Executor to track down the Millennium Falcon. However, the bounty was in the end collected by Boba Fett. And finally, how did LOM meet his fate? Well, during the War of Bounty Hunters on Nar Shaddaa, LOM and Zuckuss ambushed Boba Fett, rigging a thermal detonator to Slave One and cornering him at the gunpoint. Boba retaliated by activating the ship's cannon, blasting Zuckuss off the platform and tearing LOM in half. He then decapitated the droid, extracted intel from its head, and disregarded it outside of Jabba's palace. Alright, so after we learned a little bit about LOM and his place in the Star Wars lore, let's actually have a look at what he brings to the game. Now, if you read his kit, it's like very long, there's lots of things that are happening, but when you kind of just take out really the key pieces that I think are the most impactful, his kit is actually quite simple. His basic attack deals damage 4 times, so that seems like Fennec, right? Fennec also deals damage 4 times, so let's keep this in mind. And then during his own turn, when he uses basic, bounty hunter attackers gain stealth. So really his basic kind of acts as Aura's leadership, because her leadership as well at the start of the battle grants stealth to bounty hunter attackers, whereas here he will do that with his basic, but must be on his own turn, not from an assist or attack out of turn. His first special again does a lot of things, but mainly it will call all other dark side bounty hunters to assist. So it's not like Greef and Bosk where they call everybody. He just calls dark side bounty hunters to assist. The other special cleanses all the bounty hunters, again similar like Greef, and then also inflicts corrupted translation on everybody. And then his leadership, bounty hunter allies gain extra potency, tenacity, and then whenever to trigger the contract, we need to damage enemies with corrupted translation 20 times. Now that might sound a lot, but keep that in mind, right? He hits 4 times, Fennec hits 4 times, he's got a mass assist. If you bring in Bosk, he's got a mass assist. Heck, chucking Greef, he's got a mass assist, and suddenly you can get basically pretty much on turn 1 the contract out, as long as obviously the LOM is the fastest, because he needs to inflict corrupted translation first, and then we can start working towards contract. And then for the reward, all bounty hunters have their cooldowns reset, like Greef, right? And gain 50% potency. So his leadership doesn't look that great compared, to leadership of some of the other bounty hunters, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what Zuckuss will bring. And then he's unique, he will gain 25% turn meter whenever an enemy with corrupted translation inflicted on them has the turn meter manipulated. So I guess whenever they gain bonus turn meter or whenever they have the turn meter removed, he will gain some turn meter. Okay, I guess. And his own payout is he gains 100% potency. There's a lot of things about potency in here, isn't it? And then it will also inflict additional 2 stacks of corrupted translation when using translation destroy. So that is here the AoE that applies corrupted translation. So after the contract, When he uses it, he will inflict 3 stacks of Corrupted Translation. And yes, it's a territory battle Omicron, however it is on his unique, so he doesn't need to be in the leadership. So all allies gain bounty hunter allies gain 100% offense and health, nice. And if there are no GLs in the battle, so don't think about like using him with Jabba or something, right? If there are no GLs, bounty hunters gain 50% bonus protection at the start of their turn. So a bit of extra survivability for bounty hunters, but I don't know. You know, territory battle Omicrons, unless they're like absolutely game changing, for the most part, they're a skip. So in a nutshell, his basic deals damage 4 times, he's got a mass assist, and he's got a mass cleanse. So those are really, I think, his 3 main utilities. Like Corrupted Translation, if you read what it does, not that great, but again, there may be some good synergies with SWGOH and Corrupted Translation and potency that we may not be aware of once that launches. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's maybe just have a quick think about where his place would be. Now, the top squad right here, this is kind of the OG bounty hunters now that, you know, you would probably use in Grand Arena if you'd use them for something, with Aura Lead for basically instant contract. Then you need Bosk in there and Greef for mass assist, so then Mando can insta-kill on turn 1, and Zem is really there for the speed boost. So, you know, with good speeds, this team in the low leagues can get the job done versus many squads. So with that in mind, like, are we trying here to create 2 bounty hunter squads? Maybe. So what this leaves us for the other one? Boba, Fennec, Dengar, or the other Boba, Embo something, Forlom, and then SWGOH? Will that do anything? We'll have to again wait and see until SWGOH brings, or we can build like a powerhouse bounty hunter squad, right? You have Bosk, Forlom, Greef, all of them with mass assists, obviously with the caveat that Forlom will not call Greef to assist because he's light side. But yeah, essentially we've got 3 mass assists, then both Forlom and Fennec deals damage 4 times on their basic, and then God knows what SWGOH will bring. So is that what we're trying to do? Like an overpowered bounty hunter squad with lots of assists and everything? However, bounty hunters, for the most part, they really rely on Mando to insta-kill folks. I mean, Fennec can do some nice damage as well, I guess, but then she needs to be in the leading slot. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Or maybe you could use them under Afra. So you got Afra, her 2 droids, and then Forlom and SWGOH as the 5th one. So maybe another way to use Afra, right? Because let's face it, Afra, at least, you know, in Kyber 1, she needs a bit of love, right? Without her Datacron, she doesn't get a whole lot of use. Alright guys, so that's all for this video. Again, just we touched up quickly on the lore of, you know, origin story of Forlom and, you know, what he's known for, fun facts and things like that. And then obviously going over the cheat sheet, and finally just having think about like where could we use him for. But I guess next Datacron set will be one for bounty hunters? Maybe? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, as with many things in this game. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. But until then, have fun, enjoy life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.